What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Ground Force Gaming. Nova here, and as always, we have DatSkat with us. DatSkat, how are you doing today?
Oh man, I can't complain. Not today.
Oh, it's hard to complain when we're about to talk about Street Fighter for the next 10 to 15 minutes, right?
Yeah, 100%. Come on now.
This is the perfect way to spend an evening. I wanted to start this video out today, guys, just to let you know that we have an incredible Discord channel. We've talked about it many times before. Please find the link in our description or in our bio here on the Grind Force Gaming YouTube channel and join it. We're always talking about Street Fighter Duel. We have an amazing, positive, fun community where everyone's helping each other. It's just a really good time. So join our Discord. All right. There's my sales pitch.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have a very cool video that we're going to talk to you guys about today. And that is because we have this concept in mind here where, because we have the new event coming up here, and this is a recurring thing that we have, is new events with these boss fights where we get to battle basically against the whales to see if we can place high enough to get the best rewards that we can possibly get. And this is the time, if you didn't watch the previous video that we put out, like, are you planning for what's next? Okay, this goes into that kind of theme here. What we're going to talk about specifically today is how can you get stats? How can you gain as much power right now up until the event starts? There are a lot of ways in this game to boost stats rather than just like leveling up in your limit break. So we wanted to talk about that and make sure that you guys aren't letting anything slip. You haven't forgotten anything. Things aren't being overlooked by you. So, Skat, let's just take this on the screen. Let's just go from left to right. You want to start with the bag? What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Let's go left to right and let's start with the bag.
So we're looking at my bag, mind you. This is my screen record. So Skat's going to be talking about, this is my game that you're looking at. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can't see his screen. So here we go. Basically, I think you want to make sure you're using your, what are they? The Fighter XP items to make sure you can get your limit break all the way up.
Yep.
So there's no sense in hanging on to that stuff.
Yep.
Make
Certainly
sure
not
that
now.
that's exactly. If you don't have like Fire Adon and you're considering going for him, now is the time to do it, because we think he's going to be really big in this event.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be able to be subbed into a fire team and be able to break up some teams and help fill your fourth team, which seems to be the new norm for Street Fighter Duel.
Yeah. So if you have any like A grade fragments or any of like the cards where you can choose your faction, might be a good idea to pick the fire.
Bingo. Yep. You got it. And so make sure you're using all those. And then, we're going left to right, so I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I'll take another one here, though. Let's make sure that we're doing our daily missions every day, guys.
Yeah.
That should go without saying. And then the shop. The shop's really interesting here, guys. So you can leverage the game every single day through the shop, and you should be doing so.
Yep.
You know, I have so much cash. I have no idea how I'm ever going to spend it.
Yeah, cash isn't an issue at all. Like, I actually hold on to mine just because I don't even need to use it all at once, because I'll progress farther into the story and then I can just, use it then to get more.
Yep. And if you didn't know, in the general store in the shop there, you can buy workshop tokens, which are the vehicle tokens, with cash.
Yep, you can.
You should be doing that every day, and then you can even refresh that shop and just basically buy the vehicle tokens, refresh the shop, buy the vehicle tokens, refresh the shop, and do that. I think it's you refresh it 3 times, so you would see 4 shops, and then it goes to 200?
2 refreshes.
Gems?
2 refreshes.
So 2 refreshes? So it's
you
2,
get your
then
auto refresh, and then you do 100, and then 100. That's what I always do. I do 2 shop refreshes, so that means I can buy, whatever pops up here in the top right, says strengthening token sold out. I usually buy that, because that's a cash one. And then I'll buy the cash vehicle tokens here, and then I'll get the cash or the gem vehicle tokens down here on the bottom left. And then I usually buy 2 of the special summon tickets, but I'm running low on gems right now, and I didn't buy 2 today. I still might, but yeah, normally.
And, I can't stomach paying all those gems for those special summon tickets. I get it. It might be the play.
Maybe.
It really might.
It's just kind of where I'm at right now, personally, because here's the thing. You're either using the gems to buy special summon tickets, or you're using your gems to do divinations.
Yep. One or the other. That's it.
I'm not doing divinations with gems. I'm just using tickets as I get them to do it. because there aren't really any divination fighters that I'm really like actively trying to get. So
okay.
For me, I'd rather be getting the special summon tickets because I'm still working on Summer Elena, who's my second special summon fighter that I've been working on.
The point is, there's a general store here, and you can leverage that every day with some refreshes.
Yep.
Quickly, we can cover the shop here really quickly.
Sure. Yeah.
In the guild shop, you're looking for equipment here, guys.
Yes.
And one of the things we're going to get to a little bit later is make sure you're checking your gear on your top level people. I don't know how many times I've gone to use like OG poison, and then didn't check her gear, and I had used her gear somewhere else, or it wasn't ideal or optimized or anything. And it's
make
just
sure
like,
your
why
top
didn't I check
fighters
that?
are set. Make sure they have the gear that they need when you're going into these events and these boss fights. Definitely.
100%. In the dismissal shop, you can get the A grade fragments. Those are really good to get.
Yep. You can also get faith gems if you're kind of lacking on those and you want to do some upgrades there.
Yep. In the city shop, you can get a lot of boost stone kits, guys. This is a big deal.
Oh yes.
Because your fighter spirits can make or break a fighter. Like there are certain fighters, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of any in particular, but where the FS is absolutely needed. For like
Dulcim, Summer Elena, Fire Dawn.
Yep. All of them.
Guile, Abel.
Pretty much anybody in those main squads you're doing. Like if you have 3 or 4 main teams, you should be focusing on getting the FSs of all the damage dealers first for sure.
Yep.
And then support, and then any other characters you have in there.
Right. And you can refresh this shop too, but it's more expensive. It's 1,000. It's 1,000 gems to do this one, which I'll normally do as needed twice a month, let's say, because that's roughly about how much time it takes me to get enough city tips. Because you need 105,000 and you can buy both boost stone kits and the soul core.
Mm-hmm.
So I could do that right now, but it's going to refresh on its own in 2 days, which is before the event. So I'm going to save my gems.
Another place you can get some boost stones is the honor shop.
Yep.
Down the bottom there, and it's 165k, and you should be buying those all the time.
Yep. The only reason I'm not buying them is because I'm using this as my way of getting Rose to SSS.
Gotcha.
So I'm still doing that for her, so I don't have to do any divination pulls for her. This is a free way to get her, albeit a slow way. It's a free way.
That's true.
Yep.
I'm buying boost stones.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
You bet, man. Anyway, we can get those boost stones.
Right. The accessory shop does nothing for you, so we can just go ahead and bypass that.
Yeah.
But be sure to check your fighter tab too. I can't tell you how often I go into my awaken tab and then I forget, that I pulled some A grade copies of someone that would get me, to a +3 or +4 or something like that, and I just forgot about it. And I know, like, for a lot of you guys, your meta fighters, your primary lineups, like, they're already going to be totally max. You've been working on it for months and months. But the stats of your assist fighters are also very important because that translates over to who they are assisting. So you want to try to get everyone as max as possible and try to just kind of, keep an eye on that.
And here's a bonus and why you shouldn't hold on to copies or you should definitely build anybody you can build or promote anybody you can promote simply for the fighting heart. It's just raw stats, guys.
Yep.
So don't forget about that in the fighters tab either.
That is very, very true. Yeah. So if you go to training and we go to fighting heart, this is what Skat's talking about, which I'm sure you guys are aware already, but just to cover this for you, you get good stats from this. Depending on what fighters you typically use, that's who you're going to want to be working on your leveling for. But you get these little, what are these things called? Awakening convictions by upgrading A grade fighters. And that's what levels us up. And that's what allows you to use your faith gems to, level these things up and get more raw stats on that specific type of fighter. So don't let that slide either.
Yep, gotta check that out.
There have been times, I'll be honest with you guys, I've forgotten about Fighting Heart, and I go through all these upgrades for like a couple weeks, and then I happen to click on Fighting Heart one day, and it's like +35 awakening convictions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do some upgrades here. I totally forgot about it. So check that for sure before we go into this event. Obviously, you can draw for new fighters. That's pretty straightforward. In the arena, focus on doing your fights every day because you get some small rewards for that, but definitely focus on doing your free daily fights here in the ladder match because this is where you're getting your honor tokens and that's what's going to help you get stuff in the shop.
You betcha. And honestly, I like to test lineups in the arena.
Yeah, this is a great place to like look at what other people are using, right? You can check you can check your battle report and see who's fighting you, see what teams beat you.
Yep.
See why, where you can maybe improve. I don't know, can you look at the other teams, like the actual people's lineups if you haven't fought them? I don't think you can.
I don't think so.
But that's okay. The whales fight me regularly, so I can see what they're using.
Yeah. It would be more useful for HWA, which is not coming up immediately, I don't think.
Right.
Right. They won't sandwich HWA in the next Guile event together, would they?
But
no way.
It might come after, because they do it once a month. So
yeah.
I would imagine Sunday or Monday we'll probably see the actual notice in like the news tab.
Okay.
Like making us aware of the server going down for the update. And I think within that, then they might announce that HWA is coming. That's my guess.
It doesn't say it's in the upcoming events, just to put that out there.
Right. Yeah. If we click on the system announcements here, it doesn't show yet, but it will once the event time comes closer.
Yeah. And the Guile event is still like 20 days away, isn't it? Or
no. The entirety of the event will be 15 days from when it first starts, but it starts
15.
It starts on Tuesday or something of the coming week. It starts in like 5 days from now. 5 days and 7 hours at this time. That's when it starts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think people get confused about that sometimes too. Total tangent here, but when you click on the event sometimes, or not sometimes, if you click on the event right now, you'll see that Speedy Flash is right here. Sonic Blitz begins in 5 days and 7 hours. The event countdown is 19 days and 7 hours. That's because there's going to be an extension of the event, and that's going to cover like the shop being open, other things being available to you, different things like that. So, keep that in mind.
Yeah, they always keep the shop open an extra day or so after the event officially ends or the item drop stops.
Right.
Anywho's, really quick, I wanted to go back to training. We jumped to arena, but we skipped a tab. We skipped training. Training's really important. So make sure your X moves are all leveled up and buffed up.
Yep.
Unlock anything you can. No sense in saving learning scrolls, really. I mean, you might want to save them for a collab fighter that comes out to make sure you get that X move. So it's a pretty good idea, but
it's been a little bit since we've had a collab though. And I think the only one that was really like super important to pull was the Virgil X move, right?
Yeah, that was pretty important because that's like a damage eraser for a brief second. So you can, in certain boss fights, you can just mitigate all damage for a hot second.
Right. I would also like to add to the X move here is to make sure that if you're using certain fighters and they're like a big damage dealer for you, is that you make sure that you're trying to level up their specific X move as much as you can. Because if I go into fighters and then Infernal here and I click on Oni, he has his own specific X move, which gives him a unique additional skill, but I only get that unlocked when it's at 3 stars. So that's why, when I open up here and I see my X move, that's the one that's there. And that's because this is the one that I want the most. I want him to be as strong as possible. So keep that in mind.
It's just another way you can eke out a few more damage points or defensive points or stats.
Sure.
The Awaken tab, like we already covered that leads to your Fighting Heart, the dojo, make sure those are all leveled up, but that's kind of a casual grind, so you probably are doing that anyway.
Yep. It's easy to have one go unnoticed though.
Yeah,
so just
for sure.
Pop in here and check, make sure there's not a little exclamation point above one of them letting you know you can do an upgrade.
Just check it out, and then, we're over to the Explore tab.
Yep.
And one thing I wanted to stress was not to forget global operations here.
Oh, yes.
There's some really good rewards here, and I know we all played it in the early game, but we probably didn't max it out.
Right.
If you haven't gone back to revisit it, you should.
Yep, especially Inverse World, right? Because this is where we're getting all of our quick upgrades for Soul Power.
Yep.
Or not Soul Power. What is it called?
Soul Power.
Fighting Soul.
Fighting Soul, sorry.
Fighting Soul, that's what it is.
There's a lot of souls.
There are, yeah. So in this one I'm in specifically, you get the Echo Fragment, but you gotta max these out. You gotta unlock as much of the Soul Power as you can for all of these, because Soul Power just like everything else in this game, once it's equipped to a fighter, it gives a percentage of stats. And each one gives different stats, and they all have different tiers for what the fighting soul skill does. All of this plays a role. Okay.
So that's global operations. Shadaloo City, that's a continuous grind. We all know the every other night that we have to take a little bit longer playing the game.
Yes. It's fun, though. I like Shadaloo City a lot.
I use it to test lineups, and I can use my like SS grade fighters effectively in Shadaloo City. So it's kind of fun to test those out. It's kind of dumb that you have to wait all this time to use these fighters that you're slowly building. Sure. Because you can't really use them in the big events. Like
right, and this is a bit of a tangent here too, but I want to play off of what you just brought up. Is that sometimes it is a grind, right? You want to use these fighters, but they're not quite strong enough yet, and it's because they're not awakened enough yet. But with these events, with the workbench, okay, we don't know exactly how this event's going to play out, but traditionally these events, they come with boss fights, they come with the workbench, because this is going to be a special summon event, just like the one we just had for Summer Elena, right? So, and whoever we had before that as well. I don't know the order. I don't remember. It's not important, but they've all been the same in that regard. And with these huge stat boosts that you get from the workbench, these fighters that are not maxed become usable.
Some of them,
yeah. So like certain fighters, you only need to get to SS to really see like the value here. Like as an example, Summer Elena, I have her at SS. I'm kind of paused on her for the moment. I am going to continue working on her, but the grind for her was to get her to SS, because that's when you get her fighting spirit unlocked. And when you get that to plus 30, now you're doing passive permanent stacking in the battle, 10% for all fighter damage, stacks up to 5 times, 50% increase in damage. This is incredible. For what? For boss fights.
Bosses.
I mean,
bosses.
This is the thing, right? Like,
yeah. Bingo. You nailed it.
You gotta,
and so
you gotta just make sure you're reading all of everything every fighter does.
And for example, in the Vega Kami event that we just did, Vega Kami themselves, they were performing really, really well at a very low grade. So like, don't just think you have to have SSS plus 5 fighters in there. Like you don't.
Yeah, Goken works in these boss fights at an A grade.
Oh, like, Goken at an A grade is
people use Goken at an A grade. Some of these support fighters, you only need them at an A anyway. You can use Street Poison at an A. You can use, you can even use Summer Elena. If you were there for the event, you got 2 copies of her, so you can use her as an A plus. I was. I just got her to SS like a week ago. So. Yeah.
Okay. So, but back to the video and moving on here. I'm going to keep our pace.
Supreme Fist.
You got it. So talk to me about some towers here.
This is just a great thing to push, once a week. Every Sunday, you can play all of these at once. You can try to max them out as best as you can, but there's a lot at play here. The grind for the Supreme Fist, for the faction towers, can seem monotonous, and it can seem like you're not getting, much for your time, but you're getting a lot of, I forget what they're called, but the little things that you use to upgrade your gear. You get a lot of those. You also, every like 10 levels or so, get some special reward. It could be boost stones. It could be divination tickets. You get gems for hitting certain milestones. These are things that you definitely want to push. Last night, I pushed the Flame Tower up 20 levels. I didn't realize I could beat anymore at that point. I just tried one out. I beat it super easy. I maxed my 20 attempts out last night beating those.
Nice.
And I got 10 divination tickets out of it. And that got me a copy of Summer Buki. I'm missing 1 Summer Buki copy.
Hello, Street Art.
That's right. She's available in Street Art. And because of that, that means I'm going to have an SSS Summer Buki for this event.
Amazing.
And I already pulled for her vehicles, so I already have 6 out of 6 vehicles just waiting for her.
There it is. It's preparation, guys.
Preparation.
So.
Path of Trials, that's another one that all came to, its end today. There's 12 days for you to finish it, but everything is open. You can play all 3 of the paths now. And with that, with your trial chest, you can get a lot of vehicle tokens.
A lot, like 14,000.
Yep.
And vehicle, but if we want to jump back to like the fighter tab,
of course,
we're gonna have to talk about vehicles and soul power and stuff,
right?
And equipment.
Yep. So vehicles are huge.
Vehicles are huge, but let's go in order here. Let's go to equipment first. Like,
sure.
Obviously, you need +2. You need it
Yep.
special talented, and you need it. Uh, what do they call it?
Like level 5. I don't know.
Uh, uh, all of mine are leveled up.
Yeah. +2 level 5. But yeah, tier 2, right? Whatever it's called. I don't know. It's not
The engraving.
the
I'm
engraving.
sorry.
Yeah, engraved to
Engraving.
+2.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Sorry,
right.
guys.
That's correct.
Bear with us for a second there.
Engraved
The
to +2,
engraving.
leveled to 5, and be faction talented for that specific fighter. Make sure that you've worked on the most important FS skills, and that's going to be for like your DPS or the ones that have special utility for full teams, like Bison being example, Summer Lane, like we just talked about, being an example of that. Make sure you
Check
have
your
these equipped too, because you can equip X moves for additional stat bonuses.
Yep, and some have special talent,
Yep.
special characters assigned to them.
Correct.
And so make sure you can line those up. Also, check your SS grade fighters and see if any of them have an assist skill that you can advantage for your boss fights.
Assist skills are very important. Not this one specifically, but let's say like Abel's as an example. His assist skills very good. Throws
really
a shield
good
on the person he's assisting. It's incredible.
I use it if I need some beef on one of those like A+ or S grade heroes I'm using for these events, just to keep them alive a little bit and keep their utility pumping. Abel's great for that.
Yep. And then obviously, I mean, we just need to make sure that you're doing your garage things appropriately. Make sure you check the skills for certain fighters. Those are the ones that you need to be pulling for because they have the most beneficial 6 out of 6 vehicle options. Some fighters are good at just 3 out of 6. Some of them you don't even really need to worry about, like Street Poison. You don't even need to worry about her vehicles unless you just want the stat boost. But some of these fighters, like it's just crucial to their kit, and Viper's a good example of that. If you have 6 out of 6 vehicles for most of the important fighters that you have, we've talked about this in many videos, it might be time for you to start pulling for duplicates because you get an additional stat increase for these. So for the cars, you get, for every upgrade, you can do 5 upgrades per vehicle. You get plus 2% for the cars. You get damage bonus and reduction in PvP. For the trucks, you get final damage reduction in all battles. And for the motorcycles, you get final damage bonus in all battles. I have all
That's
3
60%
of these.
stats.
Yeah. I have all
huge.
3 of these increased to these are all maxed. I haven't started working on the other side yet, but my left side, the vehicles are all at their 10% increased cap. Soul power. Yeah, go ahead.
The duplicate vehicle thing is a grind that shouldn't happen right away, though, guys.
No.
Just because other people are going for duplicates doesn't mean going for duplicates is best for you. So make sure you're checking and you have key fighters have their 6 out of 6 vehicles because, again, just like with the FS, a lot of these fighters, their kit is unlocks their full potential.
Right.
Only if they have the 6 out of 6 vehicles. Some are less important, but some are like integral into their attacking style or kit, really. And make sure you're paying attention to that.
Yeah, make sure that you're setting up your wish list too. Like, don't forget to do that when you go into the vehicle summon. On the bottom left, you click on wish list. That's where you choose who you want to be in there. There's no way to make anyone get it every single time. It's going to be one of the 8. Whenever you do pull one, but it's random at that stage, but at least you're not pulling something, like you're not pulling a vehicle for DeCapre or something, or Dudley.
Right. Exactly.
This way you can control that.
I'm pretty much exclusively pulling for duplicates. And so, eventually I'm going to get 6 out of 6 vehicles for every fighter, of course I will.
Eventually,
but there are a couple fighters that I was like, you know what? These fighters are very key to everything we're trying to do for these events.
Correct.
So if my Dulcim can be 60% stats stronger, I'm going to do that.
It's wild.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Or my trendy Cammy have 60% stats increase. I mean, it's just a lot, guys. And the stats that they're increasing they're not just like, pressure or dodge or they are serious stats at all damage in all battles. That's the verbiage used. So
and if you're not there yet for the dupes, like Skat said, you might not be there yet, and that's okay. but just make sure you're focusing on the right fighters to do so. So just real quickly here, let's say you're not at the dupe stage. You'd want Bison in there. You'd want Dulcim. You'd want Viper. You'd want, you could have Fashion Blanca in there for sure. You'd want Guile in there. You'd want probably Abel in there. His vehicles are quite good. You could argue putting Zangief in there because his 6 out of 6 makes him nullify passives on his C2, which can help you kill a Bison.
I'm going to double down on the Zangief play.
Yeah.
Because Zangief's really important for free-to-play players. Because of his C2, you can all of a sudden use a trigger fighter with a Zangief lineup. And if like I mostly use Nero, but I paid for him. So for the free-to-play community, that Zangief pumping is really important.
Yep, agreed. But yeah, you'd want Beast Zangief in there for his his interrupt mechanic. There are other fighters that you need to work on for sure. But if you can go for the dupes, like you've been saving up some vehicle tokens, now might be the time to do it. With the event coming up, get your max damage here.
Yes.
Okay, Soul Power, real quick. Not all fighters have it. Some of them do. Focus on the correct ones, right? I've been focusing on Viper as far as like the not the yellow ones, but the red stones. And Oni as well. I got Oni to 80. I'm pushing Viper to 100 because she's super good in PvP. HWA is bound to come out here at some point. But I also want to.
She's super good in
just arena in general. Yeah, she's incredible. Super versatile fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that covers that, I think, pretty well. Obviously, push the campaign as much as you can. But it's not like a big deal.
Well, you can get gems and therefore get more pulls. So maximizing that also increases your daily idol rewards.
Yep.
So I think there's like a couple phases to this game, right? Like you start the game and then you build your campaign team, your Guile, Beast Zangief, that team, right?
Yep.
And you plow through as much campaign as you possibly can. And then you start building these other boss fighting teams and these PvP teams, and your event scores start rising and all of this stuff because you get these auto rewards every day now. Yep. So grinding to level a character all of a sudden becomes easy. And obtaining vehicle tokens is faster.
Yep.
And all these things. So that's kind of the progression of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Better the idle rewards, obviously, the better your progression is going to be.
So push that campaign as far as you can. I'm stuck right now, so at some point you're going to get stuck, and that's the game. So get used to it.
It is what it is. Eventually, you'll just unexpectedly beat it one day when you're doing your dailies, and you just play it, and you just beat. You're like, oh, okay, maybe I can.
What the heck was that?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I watching that? I've been on that mission for 2 months.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's pretty much how I do it. To be honest, I don't focus campaign too heavily. I'm on 3725, but I don't really play it that much. So guys, that's going to be the best way that you can find ways to boost your stats right now. Use this video as a tool with the new event coming up. Start from left to right, go through your options here, figure out as many things as you can to get rewards unlocked that you maybe forgot about progression opportunities in. And that's going to help you get as much stats as possible before the event starts.
And guys, these events, these special summit events, they contain some of the best rewards in the game.
They do.
So the late game is pushing for placement in these events.
Right.
And so paying attention to these things and optimizing and making sure you're not forgetting something. Yeah. You can just go through like a checklist, like we said, and get it done. You can also join our Discord page and ask any questions you want at any time of day.
Yep. Yeah, do it. Join our Discord. We're going to continue to do videos about Street Fighter Duel. We're going to continue to put out a fun, positive message about this game as well. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. Let us know if you have any questions about anything. And definitely, like I said in the beginning and Skat just said now, join the Discord. We'll see you guys in there. I think that pretty much covers it. What do you think? We good?
I think we good, man.
All right. Enjoy the video, guys. Use this as a tool, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.
Peace out.